Welcome to another production of ParkTV 16 Sports on location. Tonight we are on the beautiful campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's, bringing you Metro West Conference Girls Softball, featuring the Rockin' Eastside Kennedy Eagles coming in to take on the Red Knights of Benilde-St. Margaret's. And both teams are Metro Conference West rivals, and they come in with nearly identical records. 5-2 for Kennedy and 4-2 for Benilde. Both teams have 2 losses, and the interesting fact about both their 2 losses is that they're both to the same teams. Both teams have lost to St. Anthony and also Holy Angels. So if there's any indication about who might have the edge in this matchup, if you look at the scores of those matchups, Benilde fared better in their losses against Holy Angels and St. Anthony than did Kennedy. But Kennedy comes from a storied tradition, the home high school of Kent Herbeck, great baseball, softball community. The old Metropolitan Stadium is where the Mall of America was, and that's right where the Kennedy neighborhoods are, right in the shadows of that old great Metropolitan Stadium. And we're about to begin here. Kennedy, the visitors, will be batting first, of course. And we'll look at the outfield here for Benilde. That's Tibby Hessian pitching. She has a 4.3 ERA. Brooklyn Riley, Sophie Melsness, Marina Von Hoff, Josie Dvorak on the infield and the outfield. Caitlin Colbert, Ellie Porsche, and Maddie Murray. All right, now we're underway on the mound for Benilde. Throwing a strike right out of the chute is the pitcher. That is Abby Hessian. 1 strike, no balls, the count to number 3 for Kennedy. That's Taylor David, their shortstop. And the count is 1-1, just underway. My name is Robert Christensen. Glad you're with us. We're streaming live on YouTube, and that first shot is over the left fielder's head and all the way to the fence. Taylor David will have a stand-up double, and she'll stay right there to lead it off for the Kennedy Eagles. And they are in business, and they've got a very vocal bench over there to the right. I was watching them warm up, and this Eagle team looks sharp, and they are off to a great start on a beautiful evening here in St. Louis Park. 72 degrees. Winds out of the southeast at about 9 miles an hour, and that means it's coming right in from left center field. So you're gonna have to get a hold of one to put one over the fence today with that 9-mile-an-hour headwind coming in, as that first pitch from Hessian swung on by number 11. That's Allie Johnson, the center fielder. 1 strike, no balls, the count to her. Taylor David let it off with a double. She's on second, and there's the bunt attempt. Fouled straight back for strike number 2. Not sure if she's bunting to advance the runner there or just to get on base as a base hit. A little strange to see it this early in the game. And a swung on and a miss, and a great strikeout by Abby Hessian. Gets out number 1 in the top of the first. And now stepping into bat, number 34, Ellie Baker, the second baseman, right-handed hitter. And one thing I've noticed about our pitcher for Benilde, Tibby Hessian, she can really bring the heat, folks. You can hear it in the snap of the glove of the catcher. And that ball is a ball. So 1-0 the count to number 34, Ellie Baker. There's a runner on second, courtesy of a double by Taylor David to lead off the game, and that pitch is a strike. I thought it might look a little low from my vantage point, and I am about just a sharp angle off the right shoulder of the umpire. So I have a good look at the plate, not as good as the umpire. I thought that looked a little low, but Benilde will take that strike. So the count, 1-1, swung on, that's gonna be foul and out of play for strike number 2. 1-2 the count. Hessian toes the rubber, and the wind-up pitch on away, swung on as she gets her reaching on that outside low fastball. Great pitch by Abby. As the third baseman, Melsness, comes over to congratulate her, knowing that's a key out after giving up that leadoff double. all the way to the left field fence, and to strand that runner would definitely give a boost to the Red Knights here right away in the top of the first. Meanwhile, Kennedy would love to get that runner across with 2 outs, and now stepping in to try to do that is Emily Spencer, their cleanup hitter, and now the stolen base attempt. The throw looked like it was there in time, and they did put the tag on as the outfield umpire calls it out, and what a nice play by the catcher for Benilde. Here's that replay. And look at Melsness back right up. She kept her eye on the ball. She knew exactly where the base was without looking down and put the tag on. That is one experienced third baseman there, Sophie Melsness. What a great play from catcher to third base. It's like they've done it their whole lives, and they snuff out that early rally by Kennedy. And so after a half inning of play, our score here, 0-0, and Red Knights coming up to bat. And there is their lineup. So there's Sophie Melsness, the shortstop. And I was mistaken. That was Brooklyn Riley that made that play on third base. Melsness is, of course, the shortstop. So apologies to Brooklyn. That was a great, great catch from the catcher, Maggie Wozniak. But there's your lineup. So it'll be Sophie Melsness, Caitlin Colbert, and Brooklyn Riley to lead it off, and followed by Hessian, Von Hoff, Wozniak, Porish, Murray, and Dvorak. And on the mound for Kennedy is the left-hander, number 45 for the Eagles. Her name, I'll give it to you in a second, Mary Hayduk. She's got a 4.08 ERA. As I mentioned, she's a left-hander, and she looks like she can bring the heat as well. She's got a very powerful delivery. As we look at the outfield for the Hawks, or excuse me, for the Eagles, Katie Edmonds, Taylor David, Ellie Baker, Ava Morabito at first, Mary Hayduk pitching, of course, as we just mentioned, Emily Spencer behind the plate. And in the outfield, Carissa Wheeler, Allie Sheehan, and Kat Rossi. All right, the Eagles look good in their warm-ups, I thought, in the field. We'll see when they're put to the test by the Red Knights bats. Both teams are basically tied for second in the Metro West Conference. Chanhassen is way out in front. They have a 9-0 record overall and 6-0 in the conference, followed by Kennedy, 4-0 in the conference, and Benilde, 3-0 in the conference. So everybody's undefeated atop the Metro West. So this is a very important game for both teams, and that's going to be ruled a no pitch as we look at Hayduk. As I mentioned, she's got a 4.08 ERA, and that's going against the Benilde pitcher, Hessian. Hers is a 2.33, so a little better defense on Benilde as that first pitch comes in, called a ball. So 1-0 our count to our leadoff hitter for the Red Knights, Sophie Melsness, and there's a strike call for Hayduk, the pitcher for the Eagles, the left-hander to the right-handed hitter. I don't know if it's as much of an advantage in fast-pitch softball as it is in baseball. You'll often hear the commentators talk about switching pitchers from lefty to righty based on who the batter is and vice versa. And swinging, just getting a piece of it to stay alive is Melsness. So the count is 2-2. She looks down the third baseline to her head coach, showing her how to swing there. Very active third base coach. She's their head coach as well. I don't know if I have a name for the head coach, unfortunately. They don't give programs here. And that pitch outside as Hayduk took a little something off that. And now the count is full to our leadoff hitter, Sophie Melsness. Pitch on away, swung on, and she just caught a piece of it to stay alive. So the count will remain 3-2. Up next will be Caitlin Colbert, followed by Brooklyn Riley. No score underway here. You're watching ParkTV 16 Sports as Melsness gets a piece of that one and fouls it straight back. Constantly working on her swing as she gets ready, steps into the box. Hayduk is throwing a lot of pitches here on the first batter. And she gets Melsness reaching and chasing a low and outside pitch for strikeout and out number 1 for Hajduk and the Eagles. So they're off to a good start. And now stepping into bat, left-hander, number 7, the left fielder, Caitlin Colbert. Number 5. Winds seem to be calming down here. Flag out there in left center field was blowing in a little harder at the beginning, and now it seems to be dying down. I think as that sun starts to set behind us here, I think it's going to get a lot calmer. All right, the count now 1-0 to Caitlin Colbert. Nobody on, bottom of the first, and now she bunts it straight back to Hajduk, who picks it up cleanly, gets it over to first. Low throw, and Colbert beats the throw with amazing speed down the first base line. And look at that speed right there. She is also left-handed. Judge for yourself. Oh, very close. That could have gone either way. But the guy in blue calls her safe, and so now the Red Knights have their first base runner, Caitlin Colbert, and she's definitely looks like a stealing threat to me, is now stepping into bat for the Red Knights, the third baseman, Brooklyn Riley, as she looks at ball 1. So 1-0 the count to her. 1 out, runner on first, and that ball hit sharply, and I thought it was caught in the air, but she dropped it, and she could have doubled off Colbert at first, but she dropped it and then couldn't get Colbert at second and had to make a fielder's choice call here to first to salvage the out, and that ball almost got away from her. But she does record the out as she forces out Brooklyn Riley for out number 2, but it advances the runner. So Colbert's on second, and now stepping in the bat, the number 4 hitter, the pitcher, Tibby Hessian, also a left-hander. So lefty on lefty, pitcher against pitcher. That first one comes in for a hard fastball strike. I was thinking about pitch counts, but I don't think it matters with that underhand throw. You don't hear about Tommy John surgeries or shoulder injuries with pitchers for softball. I think it's a much more natural swing, as now that ball is hit on and a hit to the outfield, and that's going to score Caitlin Colbert on a base hit single right up the middle to the center fielder for Ebby Hessian, as she gets the first run across on that RBI single up the middle. And there she is, and here's the replay. Nice easy swing, just went down and got that ball, didn't she? And she got the barrel of the bat on it, which gave it enough power to scoot through the infield before the infielders could get over. Ball quickly brought in from the outfield, but not in time to throw out Colbert at home as she slid in for run number 1. So 1-0 our score from the home field of Benilde-St. Margaret's, and it is right on their campus. Nice sports complex here with the football field, brand new turf. Baseball field right next door where the Red Knight boys varsity is playing a match right now that started at 4 o'clock. And then they have a practice field out over left field. Beautiful setting here in St. Louis Park. Glad you're with us on ParkTV 16 Sports. Okay, after a little bit of delay, 2 outs now in the bottom of the first, and swung on by number 3, the number 5 hitter. That is Mariana Von Hoff. 1 ball, no balls, 1 strike, and there's another bunt attempt. So 3 bunt attempts already. So that seems to be a popular choice here for 3 of the at-batters here, already still in the first inning, and we've seen 3 bunt attempts. So the count now 0-2 as Von Hoff finds herself in a hole. She swings and fouls it back into the left. Running on the pitch was the pinch runner, I should say, also in for Hessian at first base. I should say that's number 10, Cece Hansen, and is a pinch runner for the pitcher, Ebby Hessian, after she got that RBI single up the middle. And now the swung on and missed, and the strikeout for Marina Von Hoff, the second baseman. So that retires the Red Knights, and after 1 complete, our score after 1 is 1-0 Red Knights. And coming up now for the Kennedy Eagles, well, I'm not sure how many they batted. I think they went 1, 2, 3. So I'm expecting their number 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Emily Spencer, Katie Edmonds. Spencer's their catcher. Edmonds is their third baseman, and then the DH, Olivia Spencer. Due up for the Kennedy Eagles as Hessian comes out to the mound to take her warm-up tosses, and it gives us a chance to show the fine folks here on just a sun-splashed evening here. Hardly a cloud or blemish in the sky. Hard to believe it was 32 degrees and pouring rain about a week ago around here for 3, 4, 5 straight days. It felt a lot more like winter. Today feels like summer. And I don't see too many people complaining around here, that's for sure. Okay, now Hessian is done with her warm-up tosses, and the Eagles are ready to go on their side. Stepping up to bat is their number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, the catcher, right-handed power hitter, going against the power pitcher and Emily Hessian. Top of the second. And we're underway. Wind up, pitch out away from Hessian, and boy, does she bring the heat. One of these days we'll have to invest in a radar gun, I think, Paul. Huh? Wouldn't that be fun? I wonder if that would be in the budget. Love to know the speeds of some of these pitches. Okay, that one is high and a ball, so 1-1 the count to Emily Spencer, the catcher. That's right in there. What a beautiful looking pitch that was by Hessian. As she's now ahead in the count, 2-1. The wind up, and that's swung on him. That's gonna be just foul. Right down the line, and the left fielder is chasing it as if it's fair, but that ball was foul, but not by much. And it was hit well. Really well. She was just a little bit out in front of it, and it just outside. But that would have been trouble for the Red Knights had that ball hit the line, because it was going all the way into the corner, and that would have been extra bases for sure. But now the count is 1-2. And the high heat gets the number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, down on strikes. Another strikeout for Hessian. 1 out in the top of the second, and now stepping into the batter's box, the right-handed hitter, Katie Edmonds, the third baseman, number 15. Or is that number 18? 18 it is. She takes a nice healthy cut at that first pitch. She timed it well as that ball came straight back. Serious looking hitter, Katie Edmonds. She looks dialed in. And she lets that one go as Hessian took a little something off that pitch. Katie Edmonds, very serious up there. She gives off that aura. I expect a good at-bat here. 1-1 delivery, swung on, fouled off and to the right in the parking lot, and it misses the vehicles. So strike 2 now, as Hessian again ahead in the count. Always a good place to be for the pitcher. Wind continues to blow in from left center. Pitch on away, misses outside. Count now even, 2-2. Yeah, this is a chess match between these two, I feel. Katie Edmonds seems to be really concentrating in that batter's box, and she gets a hold of that one. It's gonna sail left and out. Yep, foul ball. As the left fielder for the Red Knights goes over to retrieve it. Colbert, who scored the game's first run in the bottom of the first on Hessian's RBI single up the middle. The count will remain 2-2. Hessian on the mound. Outfield playing straight away, if not in a little bit in the outfield. Swung on, and that's right out to center field. And I was just commenting on how close up the center fielder was playing, and did they have the scouting report on Edmonds, didn't they? I was just noticing that, and there she was, perfectly positioned, the center fielder for the Red Knights. Made a nice play for out number 2, and that, of course, is Allie Sheehan in center. And she's still playing up, and I do think that has to do with the wind. And you'll recall in the first inning, the Kennedy Eagles burned the left fielder who was also playing in. So they play a very aggressive outfield with those players really kind of cheating up, I guess I would say, for lack of a better phrase. All right, now with 2 outs, and in the batter's box for the Eagles is number 22, Olivia Spencer. She's their designated hitter. 1-1 the count to her. Hessian, that's also back up the middle, and that's gonna get through and past a diving second baseman for the Red Knights. Von Hoff couldn't catch up to it as that ball was hit sharply right back up the middle for a base hit with 2 outs. The Eagles are gonna try to get something going, and now stepping up to the plate or trotting up to the plate for the Eagles. This is number 2, Maggie Wozniak. No, excuse me, number 2. Or is that Ava Moraletti? I can't tell sometimes, I apologize. Yeah, 20, Ava Morabito, my fault. Okay, pitch on away low. Hessian evens the count. 1-1 to Miri Bito. 2 outs, runner on first. 2 outs and swing, and just catching a piece of it is Marabito. Big organized cheer or chant from the Kennedy bench right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Hessian trying to get out of the top of the second, and she does with that. No swing, strikeout. Her second of the inning and the 3rd out of the second inning in the top, and that means the Kennedy Eagles have no runs across on 1 hit, much like their first inning. And so after 1.5, our score 1-0 Red Knights, and they'll be coming up to bat to add to their lead, hopefully, as coming out to pitch once again for the Kennedy Eagles is Hajduk. And she waits for her catcher. Here comes her catcher. Number 9 for the Eagles is Emily Spencer, and she was just up, so it's always extra work for the catcher, especially if they are about to be up. They never know. And then they gotta quickly get all that gear on and rush out there and warm up the pitcher before they can get going. And there's Hajduk. See how many pitches she throws here. There's 1. And I wonder if there's a limit too. Umpire closely watching as we look at some of the fans out in the outfield there, just enjoying a beautiful night just to be out, leaning over the fence, watching some great softball. Can't beat it. All right, due up for the Red Knights. Maggie Wozniak, Ellie Porsche, and Maddie Murray to lead off the bottom of the second for the Red Knights. Maggie Wozniak, the catcher, who had that nice throw down to third base to squelch inning number 1 rally, and she takes that first pitch and gets it between the hole, or in the hole between short and third for a leadoff base hit. So nice job by Wozniak. The number 6 hitter smacks that first pitch right in the hole there. Couldn't quite catching up to it was the shortstop for Kennedy Eagles. That's Taylor David. She was cheating over to her right there, but just not quite in time. And so with Wozniak on first, up to bat now is Ellie Porsche, the center fielder, and she swings at that first pitch, and it's straight back to the pitcher, and they're gonna catch Wozniak on a double play, and that is a cardinal rule in softball and baseball when you're on first or second base, and that's a line shot, your first step is back to avoid that very thing from happening. And you have to go against every instinct in your body. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not even criticizing. It's hard to do, but that is what they would drill into my head when I played high school baseball across the river down there in Shakopee. First back. So double play for the Eagles. 2 outs now. Nobody on. And up to bat now is Murray, number 9. And she's got 2 balls, or excuse me, that's number 7. Yeah, Murray. And she fouls that off to the right for strike 1. So the count to Murray is 2 balls, 1 strike. Murray is the designated flex player, I guess. Or no, the right fielder she is. 2-1 the count, and that ball is high. So 3 balls, 1 strike. A hitter's pitch with 2 outs, trying to get a rally going. Should she reach? Next up will be Josie Dvorak. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. So now the count has run full to the number 8 hitter, Maddie Murray, the right fielder. Trying to keep this bottom half of the second alive in a tight matchup here. 1-0 Red Knights. She fouls that off and to the right into the parking lot. So far the Cars are winning for 2 foul balls. Haven't heard any metal hit. All right, now 3-2 remains the count. Hajduk looks in. Sunglasses and mask brings that pitch for a strike call, and another strikeout for the Eagles and Hajduk, and they retire the Red Knights. So after 2 complete from Red Knights Stadium on their campus in St. Louis Park, our score 1-0. And the Eagles will be coming up for their half of the third. Glad you're with us here on ParkTV 16 Sports. Give me a chance here to look at some of the prior games the Red Knights have played this year. As I mentioned, they came in with a 4-2 record as opposed to the Eagles' 5-2 record, and they got off way back on April 11th. Boy, that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? Barely a month ago. They lost to Holy Angels 7-4, then they beat Matamidi 5-2, then they lost to St. Anthony 5-2, and then they've won 3 in a row before coming into tonight's matchup. They took care of their crosstown rivals, St. Louis Park, 14-0. Wow, that's a big score. And we did a St. Louis Park game a couple weeks ago or so, and I thought they looked really good against Southwest. But boy, they had an off night there against the Red Knights, and then the Red Knights beat Cooper 10-0. So they went 2 games, scored 24 runs, gave up 0. No wonder why Hessian has such a low ERA. Look at that. And then they beat a tight one against Bloomington Jefferson, 3-1. So they're riding a 3-game winning streak dating back to last Friday. This would be their 4th in a week if they can get this one against a tough Eagles team. Okay, we're ready to begin at the top of the third. And that pitch by Hessian is swung on by number 4 for the Eagles. That is Kat Rozzi, the right fielder, number 9. She's their 8th hitter in the lineup, and looked like Hessian took something off that. Now she's again ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, nobody on, top of the third. There's our center field camera, such a great, we have 4 cameras here for ParkTV 16 Sports, bringing you all the great angles. And you can really get the feel of the sunshine. All right, 1-2 the count. Swung on, fouled back along the backstop. So the count will remain 1-2. Winds look like they've shifted a little bit. They were coming right out of the southeast. Now they look like they're coming more out of the east. And that is swung on and fouled back. So several foul balls as number 4, Kat Rozzi, hanging tough, still behind in the count at 1-2. Now Hessian, the delivery, that's high. So the count now even to Kat Rozzi. Infield seems to be shaded a little bit to the right. Center fielder is definitely playing to the right of the second baseman, so they expect the speed of Hessian is going to make it difficult for Rozzi to catch up. And there is a perfect example as Rozzi was way behind that rocket fastball by Hessian. So out number 1 on the strikeout, the K for Hessian. One gone in the top of the third, and now up to bat is number 23, Carissa Wheeler, the left fielder, as she takes strike one. So just like that, Hessian, that is the secret to this game. You get strikes, throw strikes. Wow, that one just missed. 1-1 the count to the number 9 hitter, Wheeler. Pitch on away, swung on, and that is gonna be close to the backstop. Coming back and making a beautiful catch. The catcher for the Red Knights, Wozniak. Watch this, right up where I am located, actually. I had a first row seat right there. She slams against the backstop there like a pro to record out number 2. That was exciting. So now quickly 2 outs here in the top of the third. The pitch on away, and that is a curveball. If they can throw a curveball, certainly looked like a curveball to me. And that ball misses outside, so 1-0 the count. And that is Taylor David swinging, so she's their leadoff hitter, and the count is 1-1. You'll recall she smoked one over the left fielder's head all the way up against the wall in her first at bat. And Hessian seemed to put a little extra juice on that last one as she misses. So now 2 balls, 1 strike. Now finding herself behind in the count, but she's got 2 outs, and she brings a beautiful looking pitch there right at the knees, outside corner for strike 2 to even the count. I don't recall seeing Hessian pitch last year, but she is really impressive out there on the mound. Pitch on away, there's a curveball, and gets her. Wow, that is a curveball. I don't know I didn't think you could throw a curveball in fast pitch, but what do I know? What a nice 1-2-3 inning for Hessian and the Red Knights, and they put the Eagles down in their half of the third. So after 2.5, Red Knights clinging to a 1-0 lead, and I expect this game to be close throughout. Eagles came in with a 5-2 record, and as I mentioned, and I always like to check these things out when they do have losses, what common opponents have they had, and to see if there's any disparity in how those outcomes were. And both these teams have 2 losses, and lo and behold, their losses are to the same 2 teams, Holy Angels and St. Anthony. Don't know if that's a coincidence or what, but I did mention also earlier that the disparity in runs scored in those losses does vary and seems to give the edge to the Red Knights, which might explain why they're up 1-0 here, at least early on. As they get ready to come up, the Red Knights do in their half of the third inning, and expected up for the Red Knights. I expect up. Number 21, Dvorak, the number 9 hitter, and then the top of the order, Sophie Melsness and Caitlin Culbert. So Dvorak, Melsness, and Culbert to lead it off in the bottom of the third. Red Knights 1-0. And as I was mentioning, those scores that Benilde lost to St. Anthony by 4 runs and to Holy Angels by 3. And at the next break, I'll compare that with what the losing scores were for the Eagles against those 2 rivals. Okay, bottom of the third underway. Dvorak looks at strike 1, so both pitchers are very impressive here, as now we're looking at Hajduk. Big smile out there, how can you not be after 2 pandemic years? A long winter and really no spring. I think we went right from winter to summer. I think it's going to be 80 degrees next week already here in early May. That's also unusual, as that swung on and fouled straight back for strike number 2. So 1-2 the count. To Dvorak. Right-handed hitter. Looks at that pitch, swung on and misses for strikeout for Hajduk, and out number 1 in the bottom of the third. As the infield, congratulations all around for number 45, Hajduk. And now the top of the order for the Red Knights. They manufactured a run the last time they got up, so let's see if they can get another one here in the bottom of the third as Sophie Melsness, the shortstop, leads off. And she swings in that first pitch, and that is hit like a light lightning bolt to the right center field gap and all the way against the wall for a stand-up double for Sophie Melsness, the shortstop. And she, I believe, is 2 for 2 tonight. And a great leadoff hitter. She gives the double bicep pose, and there's that ball. It was hit sharply. She got all of that one, and there's the relay, and she is in there safely with an easy stand-up double. And now, Caitlin Colbert showing off the biceps. Those sleeves rolled all the way up to the shoulder. She tries to lay down the bunt and fouls it back, so strike one, the count to Caitlin Colbert. She scored the first run. And now she's down 0-1 the count, and she's got a little bit of a equipment problem there, I think, on her wrist, or she's checking her phone, I don't know. Oh, she's got plays, I think. That's what Paul just said to me. Now, kind of a half swing bunt advances the runner, so, and I do think that's what the intent was. So Colbert did her job as she grounded out to the second baseman, number 34, for the Kennedy Eagles. That's Baker. Gets the first out, but the runner advances Melsness from second to third, so she's definitely in scoring position with 2 outs here, though. So a critical time here for Hayduke in a close game, and that pitches right back to her. She knocks it down, picks it up, and easily gets it over to Morabito for out number 3. So the Red Knights threaten with Melsness hit all the way to the fence in right center field, but they strand her at third base. So after 3 complete from Red Knights Softball Stadium in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, our score remains 1-0 here on ParkTV 16 Sports. Again, glad you're with us on this gorgeous 72-degree early May evening with light winds out of the southeast. And now here comes Hessian, and she sprints out of the dugout. Enthusiastic to take that mound here in the top of the 4th. They play 7 innings in softball, and I don't think there's going to be a mercy rule in play tonight. This is a tight pitcher's duel, and I do love games like this, both baseball and softball. The Twins had one against the Orioles the other night. It was a 2-1 match win for Joe Ryan and the Twins, and I just loved it. It was great baseball, and those games tend to go a little faster too when they're not hitting all those home runs. Don't get me wrong, I like a nice Buxton home run like he hit the other night, but beautiful to be here. Glad you're with us again here on ParkTV 16 Sports. We usually stream live on YouTube, so if you're joining us through that platform, welcome. It is a treat to be here. Okay, we're going to lead off the top of the 4th for the Eagles. And the pitch to number 11. That is Allie Sheehan, the center fielder, the number 2 hitter, and she swings at that way out in front for strike number 2. So Hessian ahead in the count once again, where she has been most of the evening so far. All right, pitch on away, 0-2 delivery to the first batter in the Eagles' top of the 4th. Allie Sheehan lays off that one to earn ball number 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Wind up pitch on away. Just misses outside. Maybe a little high as well, but not by much. So the count now 2-2. Nobody out here, top of the 4th. Up next is the number 3 hitter, Ellie Baker, the second baseman, and the pitch on away, swung on. It's in the hole between short and third. It's going to get through. That'll be recorded as a base hit. Melsness did get there on a dive and just nicked it with their glove, but I don't think that that would be anyone's idea of what they would call an error. So nice base hit for the leadoff hitter, Allie Sheehan. And so now the Kennedy Eagles are in business with the tying run at first. And now the powerful Ellie Baker, the second baseman, looks down the third base line to get the sign. Big choreographed chant coming from the Eagle bench as they sense a chance here. Swung on, high fly, infield hit. And Melsness backs up with her sun in her eyes and fights it off with that visor to record that all-important out number one. There's the replay, and there's Melsness getting back, keeping her eye on it the whole way. And obviously the wind coming from left center field helped hold that ball up to make that play maybe just a little bit easier for Melsness. So one out here in the top of the fourth. On first base is Allie Sheehan with a leadoff base hit in the hole between third and short. And now one out, and up to bat is the number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, the catcher, number 9. She's got those shirt sleeves rolled up. Is that an intimidation thing, or is that just a style thing, or a combination of both? I see it as a little bit intimidating. Like, I'm tough, I like it. I like the look. I think it can send a message, especially if you're lifting weights. Show some power, a little intimidation, never hurt. All right, 1-2 the count, one out. And that ball gets by the catcher against the backstop. And the backstop is very close to home plate, but nevertheless, taking advantage is Allie Sheehan as she takes second base on the throwing error, the pitching error. So now they have a runner in scoring position, the tying run with one out. The count is 2-2. The number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, the catcher, is up. And a chance here for the Eagles with one out and a runner on second to tie it up in the middle of the 4th inning. And that pitch is a ball, so now the count has run full. And it wouldn't be the saddest thing in the world if they let her go with the base on balls, because that would allow force outs for the next batter, which could lead to a double play possibility. But that ball's right down the middle. It's swung on in foul territory, and the catcher makes another outstanding play in foul territory for the Red Knights. Maggie Wozniak, that's her second play in foul territory. Last inning, she crashed into the backstop right where I am located. Made an excellent play. That one was way tougher than that one, but still, they're tough. You got to take that mask off. You got to orient yourself. You got to locate the ball. Look out for bats on the ground around you. Very difficult as that pitch is swung on, and I think Brooklyn Riley lost it in the sun, and that's going to result in a tying run on that air in left field by Brooklyn Riley, and that sun definitely is coming right at her, right out of the west. And I don't know if she has sunglasses or what, but you can see her out there. Yeah, she just lost it in the sun. That can happen. That's what they call an act of God in law, you know. And they probably don't practice those sun catches so much. But that would be something you would want to do, I think, if you were a left fielder playing at this time of the night in the future, is go out there and just practice against that light. When you're looking into the sun, you can lose the ball, but you want to see where it goes into the sun, and then you can kind of see where the trajectory is going, and then you can guess when it comes out of the sun. But it is very much a guessing game and can be quite scary, especially if it's a baseball or softball coming at your head. If you miss it, it can hit you on the noggin. So it's not for the faint of heart. So very understandable, that error, but it did lead to the Eagles tying it. So now, while I've been talking, number 22 is up to bat for the Eagles. That, of course, is Olivia Spencer, the number 6 hitter, with a chance to get a run, but she earns the walk on 4 straight balls. So you wonder if that last play didn't shake Hessian just a little bit. Here she thought she was out of the inning, and now the game is tied. And there's a runner on second, and now there's a runner on first and second, and all of this with 2 outs. That does hurt psychologically, so she's going to have to put it behind her and get back into the moment and start throwing strikes again, and there she does right there. So it took about a batter, I think, for her to withstand that disappointment of not getting out of the inning, and now the game is tied. But with 2 outs, they have a force at any base, and the pitch on away swung on for strike 2. So Hessian's back after taking a batter off there, I think, to collect herself. Nothing hurt so far with that walk she gave up. So runners on first and second, 2 outs. Our score 1-1. We're in the top of the 4th. And that pitch is high. ball number 1. So the count 1-2 to the right-handed hitter, Marabito. And the strikeout for Hessian. And obviously a little disappointment. She thought she was out of that one. But on that transaction in left field, the Eagles get their tying run, and we're tied at 1 after 3.5 innings. And due up next are the Red Knights as I see them huddling over on the sideline now. Little pep talk looked like by the senior Melsness over there talking to her team, and now they're doing their own little choreographed cheer. So that's what that was all about. So, and I think it's an appropriate time. We're exactly halfway through this 7-inning contest. Played 3.5 here in about 45 minutes. It's been a great afternoon. Again, glad you're with us as we look at the Red Knights' upcoming schedule. And that game against Chanhassen is going to be a big one. Right back here on the 11th. It's a beautiful night. I encourage you to come on down. Next week, I think that's next Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Chanhassen is 9-0, obviously the class of the conference, but the Red Knights are also undefeated in the conference. They just haven't had as many opportunities as the Chanhassen, what are they, the Mustangs or something? I can't remember. The Storm, that's right. And then, of course, the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles are also undefeated in the conference with only 2 losses in the non-conference. So somebody's going to go home with a conference loss tonight. And these seasons aren't very long here in the spring. Before you know it, they're going to be in section tournaments at the end of the month. And we're already a quarter of the way into May, just like that. Okay, we're ready to go. On the mound is Hajduk. She was the starting pitcher. She's pitching very well. Big-time pitchers duel here in the Metro West Girls Softball Conference. And Hajduk is going against the Red Knight pitcher, Hessian. So I always like these matchups, pitcher against pitcher. You wonder if there's a little extra something in there. Trying to show each other what they got, and there's the high, hard one, and the strike number 2 now to Hessian. Lefty to lefty here. Hessian takes her time, stepping in the batter's box. And that ball swung on for a base hit to right field. Beautifully done with 2 outs. She just reached down for it. Nice, easy swing. Laces that to right field for a solid base hit and a leadoff base hit here in the bottom of the 4th. She's just got a great swing. Look at her hip rotation and then the follow through with the bat, just perfect. And she'll come out and give way to CC Hansen, the pinch runner. And now up to bat, the second baseman for the Red Knights. That's Marina von Hoff. With nobody out and a runner on, and the Red Knights trying to regain their lead after giving it up in the top half of the 4th. On a 2-out rally by the Kennedy Eagles, and we're tied here at 1. Pitch on away from Hajduk is inside and a ball. The batter, that's Marina von Hoff. Second baseman, number 5 hitter. Next up will be Maggie Wozniak, the tough catcher. And she leans in and it looks like she was gonna bunt, but she pulled back, and now the throw nabs CC Hansen trying to steal second. And that's gonna be out number 1. So just like that, the rally is extinguished. And that ball was there in plenty of time. No slide even by Hansen. So I question why they're stealing there. The leadoff hitter on, and there's a bunt attempt, and she's out. This time she couldn't beat it. Last time she got up, she beat it. But this time her speed couldn't get there. As it appeared, the Eagles were ready for it this time. And let's see here, the bang bang play. Yeah, good play there. Good call. So 2 outs just like that. That's why I query whether it's stealing at that point is the best strategy. We'll never know. As now stepping into bat is the catcher now with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th, tied at 1, and that is the number 6 hitter, Maggie Wozniak. And she takes strike one, and now she swings at that pitch. It's high to center field, and it gets held up by the wind and brought in easily by the center fielder, Allie Sheehan, for the Eagles. So after a leadoff, no out, base hit by the Red Knights, they get extinguished on the throw out at second base. And then 2 quick outs after that, and that's the end of their fourth. So after 4 complete, our score remains 1-0. We go to the top of the 5th here at Red Knights Softball Stadium on the beautiful campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's. All kinds of activity around on the other playing fields. I see the baseball team is still out there playing their varsity game that started at 4. Boy, that was like 2.5 hours ago. And let's see who's going to be taking the mound. Here comes Hessian. She comes back out to take the mound. And we also have Wozniak back behind the plate. They'll be doing their warm-ups, and we'll be underway here shortly to begin the top of the 5th. And look at that pitcher's, just looking at the scoring here, all those zeros, 2 ones, 3 hits for Bloomington, 5 hits for the Red Knights. They've squandered a couple of those, I must say. And then, of course, the error by Benilde led to that unearned run. And there is the story of the game. Sponsored by ParkTV 16 Sports. All right, we're done with the warm-ups. And coming from the dugout for the Kennedy Eagles, up to bat first in their top of the 5th. That's Kat Razi, the right fielder, number 4. Razi, the right-hander, to go against the right-hander, Hessian. And the wind seems to have picked up out of the southeast just a little bit more, looking at the flags out there as that first pitch misses for ball 1 to the number 8 hitter, Kat Razi, and she swings at that pitch and fouls it straight back almost for strike 1. One and one the count, nobody out. Outfield shading to the right again, and that pitch is swung on and fouled back again. As Razi shows a little bit of frustration. She thought she had that one, and I thought she did too. Her timing was right there, just missed it. As Hessian really does bring the heat. Tough pitcher to get a hit off of for sure, and that is swung on, and you can see how late she was on that. That's just from the pure speed of Hessian's velocity on that ball, as Melsness comes over with a little bit of a smile for Hessian on that one. So 1-2 remains the count to the number 8 hitter for the Eagles, Kat Razi, and that pitch is outside. So now she gets the count even at 2-2. So for sure a little bit of a chess match. As that wind, I can feel it's kicking up a little bit more out of the southeast. 2-2 delivery is a strike call, and Hessian gets number 4, Kat Razi, for out number 1 in the top of the 5th, and that will bring up number 23 for the Eagles, Carissa Wheeler, the left fielder. Number 23, she looks at strike 1, so Hessian again in front on another batter. Pitch on a way low, ball 1. 1-1 the count, 1 out, top of the 5th, nobody on. Your batter, the number 9 hitter, Carissa Wheeler. Hessian approves the call, takes a swing by Wheeler, and it's an easy pop-up to Melsness at short. And that's a pitcher's pitch there. She can barely get the bat on it, and an easy put out as she was fighting that sun, and that's a good way to do it. You get your glove up there and use that as a shield. And then it is somewhat of a guessing match. So, okay, 2 outs now. 2 up, 2 down here, top of the 5th. That first pitch to the leadoff hitter now, Taylor David. They're at the top of the order, number 3. If you were with us at the beginning, she got the leadoff hit of the game in the top of the 1st. As she burned the left fielder all the way to the fence, and that outfield, they're still playing in close. And again, they do have a 9-10 mile an hour wind out of the southeast to help them. So I do get the logic there, as it's 2 balls, no strikes until that ball was swung on and fouled off to the right. And that may have hit a car, as I heard a few groans. What are you going to do? So the count now 2-1 to the leadoff hitter for the Eagles, Taylor David. If she reaches, Allie Sheehan will be up next, and that pitch is a strike call. Hessian evens the count at 2 with 2 outs. Tied at 1, top of the 5th. And that ball in the dirt. Taylor David doesn't chase it, so now she runs the count full with 2 outs, trying to keep their half of the 5th alive here. David steps out of the box. Hessian now brings the delivery, and she misses, and she's going to draw a walk for Taylor David, so their 5th will continue, and that's going to bring up Allie Sheehan. And Sheehan did have a base hit her last time up, if I recall correctly. I thought she hit one maybe to the right center field gap, and then ended up scoring, I think, on that air in left field. So now the pitch on away with 2 outs, swung on and missed, and that was a really fast pitch by Hessian. You could hear the pop in Wozniak, the catcher's glove, on that one. So 1 strike the call is the count to Allie Sheehan, the number 2 hitter and the center fielder. And that pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. So her timing's right there. Often people equate the best athletes on a baseball or softball team with either the shortstop or the center fielder. They usually are the most athletic, and here's the center fielder, the number 2 hitter, Allie Sheehan, with a nice cut there, but now she is down in the count, 0-2 with 2 outs. Runner on first, pitch on away, and that's a swing and a miss. Catcher dropped it, but she'll throw her out at first to record out number 3. So the Eagles go 1-2-3 in their half of the 5th, and after 4.5 complete, we're gonna go to the bottom of the 5th, and we're tied at 1 here on ParkTV 16 Sports. Glad you're with us. So I was mentioning before that both these teams had 2 losses to the same teams, and I was going to compare their losses. And the difference is that Kennedy lost to St. Anthony by 11 runs, 13-2, and Holy Angels by 8 runs. So that is a combination, that's 19 total runs. Meanwhile, the Red Knights lost to those 2 same foes by a total score here. Where is it? There it is. By 3 and 4, by 7. So the disparity in runs given up in their losses is quite large. So I'm going with that tell that the Red Knights are going to pull this one out, but it is a tight game. We are watching 2 great Metro West Conference girls varsity softball pitchers. So if you like pitching duels, you've come to the right place here for ParkTV 16 Sports. And now I look out, and the pitcher, Hajduk, has come back to pitch the bottom of the 5th. She's started and gone the entire distance, only giving up 1 run and 5 hits. And up to bat for the Red Knights. Center fielder Ellie Porish, the number 7 hitter, as she looks at ball 1. 1-0 the count to Porish. She'll be followed by Maddie Murray and Josie Dvorak. The 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the bottom of the 5th. As she looks at ball number 2, so she's ahead in the count here, 2-0. Wonder if she'll be taking all the way here. Pitch on away, strike call on the outside half of the plate. As Hajduk settles down now, 2-1 the count, nobody out, bottom of the 5th. Number 7 hitter looks at ball 3 as that ball was outside, so Hajduk having a little harder time finding the strike zone, at least early on here in the bottom of the 5th. Wind up the pitch on away, and she misses it. So that's ball number 4, and the number 7 hitter draws a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 7th, and a chance for the Red Knights to put the go-ahead run in play here at first base. And now stepping up to bat, number 7, the right fielder, Maddie Murray, another right-handed hitter. Try to get a rally going here in the bottom of the 5th. Pitch on away, and there's another bunt attempt. And that fouls back to the right. A lot of fouled bunt attempts here. So strike 1 the count to Murray. Pitch on away, she reaches in. And misses for strike number 2. And the shadows from the setting sun are starting to creep from the first base line. You can start to see them there as we look at the batter. That pitch is also outside, so ball 2, or is that ball 1? 1 and 2 now, the count to Murray, number 7, the number 8 hitter. Runner on first is Porish, and that is swung on and fouled into the backstop. Right of play. Morabito comes over to pick it up. The first baseman gets it over to Hajduk. And the wind up with a runner on and nobody out, and the steal attempt, and here comes the throw, and I think they got her there as this catcher is 2 for 2, gunning down base stealers for the Red Knights as they run themselves out of another scoring threat. I don't understand that. That ball was there in time, and the tag put on beautifully by number 3, Taylor David, playing excellently, fielding those balls from the catcher for the Kennedy Eagles. Emily Spencer, both catchers playing very well for both teams, both Dvorak and here Spencer. 3 throwouts by stealing. 3 base runners have been stolen out tonight in a fast-pitch softball game. To me, that is remarkable. Okay, 3-2 count. Meanwhile, and that pitch is hit to the second baseman, and quickly Baker gets it up and over to Morabito to retire the Red Knights. And out number, or was that out number 2? That is out number 2. I think there was some confusion. It looked like the Eagles were going to run off the field, and I thought, is that 3 outs? But no, that's only 2. And now the number 9 hitter, as we look at that replay, and Ellie Baker easily scoops that up and shovels it over to Morabito for out number 2. So with nobody on, the number 9 hitter steps in. And that is number 21, Dvorak, and she pops out in foul play for out number 3. So there's your pitcher, Hajduk, and look at that big smile with just a 1 run being given up. And we are through 5 complete, and with not very many base runners, this game is clicking along here. We're already in the 6th inning, barely an hour into this matter, and it's yet to be decided as we're tied at 1. Look at that, 5 hits to 3 hits, 1 error to no errors. What a neat looking line there of softball stats. Love a pitcher's duel as we look at some of the fans here, just enjoying the music and the beautiful sunshine, the warm temperatures. Great day to be outside. Showing their dance moves. Gotta love it. You can see the wind there. She's gonna put her jacket on, of course. It is a little breezy and the sun is starting to set here. So it will be a little chillier tonight. It is still spring in Minnesota after all. We could have snow yet. It snowed on Memorial Weekend many times, especially when I was a kid growing up, so it's not summer yet. That usually gets here, what, by the 4th of July, and then it's gone by August, but hopefully not this year. Okay, we're about to begin the top of the 6th, and stepping into bat will be the number 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Kennedy Eagles. Ellie Baker, followed by Emily Spencer and Katie Edmonds. So the heart of the order coming up for the Eagles in their top of the 6th to try to break open this 1-1 tie. And it's been tied at 1 for a few innings now, and lots of enthusiasm coming from the Eagles bench for their teammate Ellie Baker. they chant her name, Ellie Baker. All right, that first pitch was a ball from Hessian, who's gone the whole way. And that pitch is low for ball number 2. And you can see the shadows are gonna start to creep up, and you wonder how that's gonna affect the vision, both from the hitter, who's now in the sun, but shortly they'll be in the shade and the ball will be coming out of the sun. That can have an impact on their vision, which can impact their performance at the plate. As we look at ball 2, so 2-1 the count. To the number 3 hitter, Ellie Baker, the second baseman. She swings, it just gets out of the reach of the diving third baseman. Melsness is over there to save it, but she overthrows the first baseman. There's a collision at first, and Baker's gonna take second on the overthrow. So the leadoff hitter, I will call that a base hit, but then a throwing error, which allowed Ellie Baker to take second base. So now the Eagles have the go-ahead runner in scoring position on second base, and they're now number 4 hitter. Melsness was there, and the ball just got away from her. I don't know if it would have got there in time. They could have called interference on the Benilde's first baseman, but she got second base anyway. So now with nobody out, runner on second, Ellie Baker. And now up the number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, the catcher. She's thrown out 2 base runners at second base with 2 impressive throws. One heck of an athlete there behind. Talk about athletes, catchers have to be the strongest. And now a bunt goes back to Hessian. She loses her balance, but able to get the throw over there in time nevertheless. And what a great athletic play by Hessian, coming off the pitcher's mound, losing her footing, going to one knee, and still having the wherewithal to get the ball over to first base in time. Watch this great play. Kind of handcuffed her, lost her balance, and got that throw over. What a twisting throw that was by Hessian. But it does allow the runner to advance to third. So the bunt does its job with 1 out now. They have a runner, Ellie Baker, on third, and now the number 5 hitter, Katie Edmonds, up, the third baseman, and she swings at that first pitch and fouls it straight back. So her timing is right on. And I just heard a fan, maybe a parent, say, "You got your timing down," and yes, she does. And that's not easy to catch up to a fastball from Hessian. That pitch is high, and it gets by the pitch on the way back, and Melsness alertly picks it up. Otherwise, that could have been a stolen home plate for Ellie Baker and the go-ahead run here in the top of the 6th. Saving the day was Melsness. Ever alert, and the infield is playing in now to cut off that runner should there be an infield hit. All the way around. Maybe the second baseman, not quite so much, but that is that's the play to do here with this juncture of the game. And now Melsness comes in, and they almost double off the runner at third, but a key second out for Hessian. Look at that pitch. And Melsness gets over there, fights the sun for out number 2, and that's a huge out. But now stepping up, the number 6 hitter, the powerful Olivia Spencer. She swings at that first pitch, or she's their designated hitter, the lefty to the righty. 2 outs, runner on third. If you're a Kennedy fan, you can almost taste the go-ahead run here. 1 strike though, the count. And that pitch misses outside for ball 1. So now we're even to Olivia Spencer, and this is exciting stuff here right now. Baker does not want to get stranded at third. Hits are hard to come by, and there's a pop-up to the infielder, Hessian, and she gets out of the inning. So the Eagles, on Baker's initial hit, steals second on the overthrow, then third on the fielder's choice bunt. But Hessian shows up big with the last 2 outs to strand the runner at third. And so after 5.5 complete from Red Knight Stadium here on ParkTV 16 Sports, our score remains tied at 1. Kennedy gets their 4th hit in this pitcher's duel from Red Knight Stadium. And looking out on the mound as we look at Kennedy's upcoming schedule, wow, they're gonna have Chanhassen coming up next on Monday. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Chanhassen is 9-0. Then they go to Orono, then St. Louis Park. And then 2 Jefferson games. I don't know about that. Maybe it's a doubleheader. And then at Chaska, at Simley, and then Waconia. That's a long drive from Waconia to, that is a doubleheader. Okay, thanks. On the 16th. Yeah, look at the baseball guys are coming over after, who is that? That's John F. Kennedy. That's the Kennedy baseball team. So they must be done with their game with Benilde. Look at those uniforms. They're rocking those shirts, and I love the hat. JFK on the top there for Kennedy High School. I love it. All right, now to lead it off, the shortstop, leadoff hitter, Sophie Melsness, and they couldn't come at a better time here late in this match. They get 1 run, then they're just 3 outs from the victory. And she looks at strike 1 from Hajduk, the outstanding pitcher for Kennedy, and she smacks that pitch right back to Taylor David, who guns her down over at first base for a bang-bang play just like that. Well hit, but right at David, who had no trouble scooping that up and getting the ball over there in plenty of time. Look at that throw. Just compact, efficient, well played by Taylor David. Okay, 1 out here in the Red Knights half of the 6th, the bottom of the 6th. And that brings up the number 2 hitter, Caitlin. And that ball will be ruled a foul. It landed fair and then rolled foul. So Caitlin Colbert will come back with a strike 1 count and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And it truly is a pitcher's duel. No doubt about it. 1 strike for Hajduk on Colbert, and she does lay down a nice bunt, but the third baseman was right there to gun her down as if she knew it was coming. And she might have. Number 18, Katie Edmonds, charging in from third base. Gets down, reaches to her left, comes up all in 1 motion and guns it over. I'm very impressed with the fielding skills of both these teams. We're watching some great softball talent here tonight. And now 2 outs just like that, and now the number 3 hitter for the Red Knights steps into the batter's box. Brooklyn Riley, the third baseman. She looks down for the sign after taking ball 1. So 2 outs here already in the bottom of the 6th. They play 7 here in high school girls softball, and that pitch is fouled into the parking lot, right and out of play for strike 1. So 1-1 the count here. Bottom of the 6th, we're tied at 1. Red Knights trying to get something going here in their half of the 6th as we're running out of innings. And that ball swung on into the backstop to the right, out of play, or in play, but out of bounds. As the shadows continue to creep more and more along that first base line and the third base line as well, actually. Pitch on the way, swung on. And Marobito crashes into the fence trying to go for that. Couldn't quite get there in time. The ball wasn't hit very high in the air, so she really didn't have much of a chance. Morabito, the first baseman I'm talking about there. But it does result in strike 2. So now Hajduk is ahead in the count with 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that pitch is, wow, just outside. So now the count is even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Brooklyn Riley swings, gets a piece of it. It could go foul, but it's picked up by the catcher, and they throw it down. And Morabito was bent over. And I think maybe the second baseman, Ellie Baker, was going to come over to take that play. Let's see what happened here. She didn't get much on it, but these are tough plays. It came right back to the catcher, and I don't know what that was. And it didn't result in a base, an extra base, so really no harm there. I wouldn't know. That would be a base hit. I would call that a hit. I think she had beaten the throw anyway. Her reaching, my judgment is her reaching first base was more a result of the ball hit, and the way it was spinning backwards allowed her time to get down that base to beat that throw. Oh, right back at Duke, and she knocks it down. She might have a bruise on her upper thigh there, but she is kind of, yep, on that left upper thigh. That had to sting, but she took one for the team right there. Ouch. And that's why they wear masks, folks, because when you're playing softball, those metal bats and those hard balls can come ricocheting right back at you with no time to protect yourself. That's why I don't think I ever wanted to be a pitcher. That would be the scariest thing, having the ball coming right at your head and you don't get out of the way. That can be catastrophic, but it looks like Duke's gonna be okay as she was able to recover and throw the batter out at first for out number 3. So now this pitcher's duel is going to go to the top of the 7th. And each team is gonna have 3 outs, or we might have extra innings here, Paul, unless one of these teams can get a run. And right now, they are hard to come by. Only 10 hits for a softball game. That is incredibly low, which is, again, a testament to the great pitching performances we're getting here tonight on ParkTV 16 Sports. Again, I'm Robert Christensen. So glad you're with us in this great pitcher's duel. One of the better softball games I can recall broadcasting here. And it has been fun to watch. Okay, now stepping in to bat is the first baseman, Marabito. For the Eagles, her first name is Ava. She's the first baseman. She's the number 7 hitter. So 7, 8, and 9 up for the Eagles as they are cheering from their home dugout, or their visiting dugout. And that first pitch is a ball high and outside. And that pitch is swung on straight back by Marabito for strike 1. So 1-1 the count. Top half of the 7th. Eagles trying to get 1 run across and then go get them out in the bottom of the 7th. Meanwhile, the Red Knights are trying to get them out and get their 1 run in the bottom of the 7th to get out of Dodge with a narrow victory here. Again, I remind you, both teams are undefeated in the conference. They have almost identical records with 2 losses apiece, including their non-conference play. And the 1-2 delivery to Marabito swung on and missed, and Hessian gets the first out with a strikeout, swinging. So the number 7 hitter goes down, and now stepping up to bat will be the number 8 hitter for Kennedy, Kat Razy, number 4. And she leans in to appearing to bunt. She gets the bat on the ball, but it gets fouled out of play as Dvorak, the catcher for the Red Knights, hustled over there but couldn't quite catch up to it. Didn't really get very high in the air. But she gave it quite an effort there, bounding over there towards the fence. Due up next for the Kennedy Eagles would be Carissa Wheeler, the number 9 hitter, and now that pitch is over the head of the catcher Dvorak, or excuse me, Wozniak. And the count 1-1 with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Your batter is Kat Razy, the right fielder. And she swings and couldn't even see that pitch as Hessian brings the heat on that one for strike 2. The count now 1-2 with 1 out here. Top of the 7th inning from Red Knights softball stadium. And that pitch misses. Maybe a little high and outside from my vantage point. The count now is even at 2. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th, we're tied at 1. Something's gonna have to give here, and that pitch is fouled to the right. As the pitchers are dominating here this afternoon, this evening. Gorgeous night, started out 72 degrees, but the temperatures are starting to drop here in the shade as the shadows are creeping further and further into the infield. Batters are now completely in the shade. The pitcher is completely still in the sun, but only for a few more minutes as Hessian strikes out Kat Razy, and now number 23, Carissa Wheeler, the left fielder, with 2 outs here, nobody on. Try to get something going here in the top of the 7th for the visiting Eagles. Pitch on away, strike call from Hessian, wasting no time getting ahead of this one. I noticed the center fielder for the Red Knights was shading to the right, but she quickly moved to the left as that ball is swung on in foul territory, but no play able to be made by the right side of the Benilde defense in the outfield there. So now Hessian has 2 strikes with 2 outs, no balls to the number 9 hitter, Carissa Wheeler. Advantage to the Red Knights. Hessian, I would say for sure, on this pitch, swung on, fouled sharply to the right against the backstop. Count remains 0-2. You can see it's a slow spring. There's not a lot of green in the trees there, but it's coming, I think. That pitch misses outside for ball 1. So not a bad one to waste there for Hessian. 1-2 the count to Carissa Wheeler. Pitch on away, just misses low. As Wheeler fights her way back to even it at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs, top of the 7th. Hessian, the windup, the pitch on away, swung straight back. Wheeler just missing on that swing. Count remains at 2-2. 2 outs, nobody on. As Wheeler takes a step out. And there was something on the ground as Melsness comes up to pick something up and put it in her back pocket. Okay, we're back underway. 2-2 the count. And that pitch misses. As I see Hessian was sort of shaking her pitching throwing hand there. I don't know if there was a problem or if it slipped or whatever. But she's showing some sort of discomfort. And that pitch is swung on and Melsness goes back to retrieve it in the sun to record out number 3 in the top of the 7th. So after 6.5 complete, we're still tied at 1. And the Red Knights are gonna come up in the bottom of the 7th looking for a walk-off. We look at the crowd there, and they're red, the Red Knight fans enjoying the afternoon, but there are still light jackets, and I can definitely feel the chill as the shade has come to where I'm located at this game. So still not quite full summer yet, but I've heard next week 80s coming maybe, next Tuesday or Wednesday. Thursday next week, I think. But right now, we'll take this weather for sure. Nice kickoff to a beautiful weekend here in the Twin Cities area. Glad you're with us here on ParkTV 16 Sports. I look out on the mound and there's our cameraman on the dugout of Benilde-St. Margaret's. Who is that, Paul? That's John, one of our 4 cameras here today. Bringing you all this great action in this pitcher's duel. All right, Haidu comes out in her sunglasses as she's still in the sun, but by the time she's done, I think she'll be in the shade here in the bottom of the 7th, and a chance for the Red Knights to get this game, as they say, put the hay in the barn. As we look at the first pitch, called a strike to the batter for the Red Knights. That is number 3, the number 5 hitter, Marina Von Hoff, as she looks at ball 1. So 1-1 the count. She'll be followed by Maggie Wozniak, the number 6 hitter, and Ellie Porish, the center fielder. So the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters up to bat. All they need is 1 run here. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch on away, and that misses. So this is where nerves start to come into play here. Late in games. Time running out theoretically. 3-1 delivery to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 7th, and that is a strike. Looked to me that she was taking all the way, Von Hoff that is, trying to get that leadoff walk. Last 2 base runners have been thrown out stealing second. You wonder if they get one on, they'll try that again. As that pitch is swung on and fouled back and out of play. by Marina Von Hoff. The left-handed speedster looking at a 3-2 delivery. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th, that ball swung on and quickly over to Ellie Baker, who dives to her left and gets it over to Marabito for out number 1 in the top of the 7th. So the ball was sharply hit here by Von Hoff, and I marvel at how they start running right before they actually make contact in girls softball. It's definitely a technique I've seen by other players, but that was a nice play by Baker. She dived to her left and on one knee got the ball over to Marabito for out number 1 in the bottom of the 7th, and now up the catcher, Maggie Wozniak. And she swings at that first pitch, and it's an easy pop-up right back to Hajduk, the pitcher. So on one pitch, just like that, there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And now, with 2 outs and nobody on, stepping in to bat is number 23, Ellie Porsche, the center fielder. Before we go to extra innings here, pitch on away, swung on, and it's going to be a tough play. It's going to go foul with that spin. That can always be dicey. We got a pitcher, first baseman, all rushing, and then the batter running down the first base, and then you've got the second baseman coming over to cover the base. Lots of collisions can happen with those, especially if that ball had just somehow remained put in that sand out there. Okay, 1 strike the count, 2 outs to Ellie Porsche, and that is strike number 2. So just like that, another stellar pitching performance in this half of the 7th inning for the Eagles and the pitcher Hajduk. As she lets that one get away, so 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ellie Porsche, and that pitch misses outside as she tried to get her to chase it, and smartly Porsche lays off of it. So the count now is 2-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. Pitch on away, misses outside. So after being down in the count, Ellie Porsche has worked her way back to a full count, looking to get on any way she can, and that pitch is foul. Sharply hit down the third base line. Coming up to play it there for the Eagles, their excellent third baseman, Katie Edmonds, played it out of bounds, and that ball is also fouled. And you can see the pace on both of these pitchers, both the Benilde pitcher and the Kennedy pitcher. They have so much velocity and pace that it's really difficult for these players to get a square, to hit the ball square. So you're seeing a lot of faintly hit balls here, spinning, and that one swung on, and that could be trouble in the short right field, and Baker can't get her glove on it, and that is gonna be a hit. I would call that a hit, Paul. That would have been a tough play as Ellie Baker retreated to her left, and she couldn't quite get twisted around. Maybe she took her eye off of it. Yeah, she just couldn't get in the position, and she probably heard footsteps from the right fielder as well. So just like that, the winning run is on first base, and that pitch is on away, and we got a base hit. No, it's not. It's robbed by the right fielder. She was playing in to rob that possible winning hit. To record out number 3, the right fielder coming in. I thought that was going to be a base hit for sure, but I forgot how up these outfielders play. And that play was made by the right fielder, Kat Razzie, to really rob Benilde of a base hit there. So now we're going to come out to the top of the 8th. We're in extra innings here from Red Knight Stadium on the campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's. Look at all those zeros in this pitching duel. Now we're going to go to the 8th. I don't know, can we create an 8 there, Paul, on the graphic? I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to run out of room on our monitor, I feel, but we'll see here as coming out to take her warm-up pitches. Once again, the starting pitcher, she's gone the whole way. Number 15 for the Red Knights, Hessian, coming in with a 2-run ERA or thereabouts, and she is holding that in accord here, only giving up 1 in 7 complete. And up to bat for the Kennedy Eagles, just in the nick of time, are their top of their lineup as we look at some of those JFK men's or boys baseball team. Looking sharp in those pretty cool looking uniforms, I'd have to say. It's good to be a Kennedy baseball player too, wearing those cool things, those camouflage type. I don't know what you'd call those. I like them a lot. And I love the hats. Those things look cool. Okay, all right, we're ready to begin here, top of the 8th. And nothing, you didn't come to listen to my fashion statements. This is not the Met Gala. This is Red Knight softball and extra innings in a Metro West contest. That actually means something. Both teams are undefeated in the conference, tied in 2nd place behind the undefeated Chanhassen Storm, who the Kennedy Eagles are going to get on Monday. So no rest for the weary for the Kennedy Eagles fans as they look at ball 1. Taylor David, the leadoff hitter, the shortstop. Pitch on away as now everybody's in the shade except for the left side of the infield. Basically just Melsness in the sun, and of course the left fielder who struggled with it, which really led to the unearned run. Otherwise we'd be out of here already at 1-0. And that pitch, the high heat brought by Hessian, gets David to swing for strike 1. So 2-1 the count, top of the 8th. We're in sudden death, basically. Ball hit right to Melsness, and she gets it up and over to the first baseman. Easy peasy for Melsness. Textbook shortstop play, records out number 1 in the top of the 8th. And now stepping into the batter's box, the right-handed hitter, number 11, the center fielder, Ali Sheehan. As we watch that replay, as the first baseman, number 21, hauls it in. Josie Dvorak from Melsness for out number 1, and now the first pitch by Hessian to the number 2 batter, the right-handed hitting, Ali Sheehan. The center fielder looks at strike 1. No balls, 1 strike the count. Pitch on away, and that's right back up the middle, and it burns the center fielder, and that is the game you play. And that's gonna be a triple for number 11, Ali Sheehan, as she made the outfield pay on that one. And that is the risk you take when you play in, and that you risk a hit like that to burn you. And the center fielder was just in no position to make that play. And now the go-ahead run is now, what, 60 feet away? 45 feet away? I think it's 60 feet with just 1 out, and the number 3 hitter, Ellie Baker, with the Kirby Puckett number. She's got a big smile. She can feel the moment here. Takes a big, deep breath. She definitely can feel the moment here. Big chance for the Eagles, and they swing at that. And they're gonna tag short right field, coming in and making the catch, but they hold her up at second base, and the throw comes in, gets by the catcher, Wozniak, but Hessian there to cover first, and wisely, the runner, Ali Sheehan, on third, stays put. What a play, though, by the center fielder coming in and just catching up with that. I can't tell you how difficult of a play that is. Going to your left, she barely got it, an ice cream cone type catch, but then to have the heads up to get that ball in. Boy, had the runner gone, she would have scored, but you never really know if that throw's gonna come in. So now with 2 outs, the Eagles need to get a base hit. The fly ball won't cut it here as number 9, the number 4 hitter, Emily Spencer, the catcher, steps in to go against Hessian with 2 outs, and she brings that pitch fouled back and out of play for strike number 1. It can't get more exciting than this. Top of the 8th inning, tied at 1, 2 outs. A triple by Ali Sheehan with 1 out, and she's still at third. Pitch on away, swing and a miss, a big cut by the catcher, number 9, Emily Spencer, for strike 2. So no balls, 2 strikes. You gotta think she's gonna be protecting the plate. She really doesn't need to take a big swing. She can just get anything down on the ground. That's gonna score the go-ahead run here. And that pitch is high. for ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Wind dying down now, it appears, just a little bit out there in left center, coming in. And now the pitch on a way. Swung on and fouled against the backstop. Getting over there too late for the Red Knights was their third baseman, Brooklyn Riley. So the count remains 1-2. We're in extra innings here from Red Knights Stadium. Glad you're with us here on ParkTV 16 Sports as we watch Hessian look in. The windup, the pitch on away is outside. So smartly, the number 4 hitter works her way back to even. The count 2-2 with 2 outs. The go-ahead run 60 feet away for the visiting Kennedy Eagles. Pitch on away, swung on, fouled out of play to the left. Chasing it is Brooklyn Riley. Can't catch up to it in time, so the count remains 2-2. This is a great battle here, catcher versus pitcher. Several foul balls here, 1 base hit, and you're gonna hear a huge eruption from that Kennedy Eagles bench, I can tell you that. Pitch on away, and that's a strike call. Hessian didn't even wait for the call. She knew it, she was running off the mound. Big laugh on the sideline as she saves the day and strands that runner at third base after that triple. And a wasted opportunity for the Kennedy Eagles. And you wonder if that doesn't cause momentum now for the Red Knights. When I used to play competitive baseball or men's softball, I would use that as motivation. It's like, all right, let's go get these guys because we dodged a bullet. Let's take advantage right now, and that's got to be the mindset for these Red Knights. It's Friday night, another long week of school. Graduation coming up in a few weeks. Summer's here. Let's get out of here with a win in the bottom of the 8th, huh? That's got to be the mindset. As we look at that young man out there. Not a care in the world, just checking it out, still in the sunshine. He's got the best seat in the house, I'd say, being in the sun right now. Hoping maybe to get a winning home run ball off one of the bats of the Red Knights, and expected up for the Red Knights is, I see warming up there, number 21. That is Josie Dvorak. She's the number 9 hitter. So the top of the order also coming up for the Red Knights. It'll be Dvorak, and expected up Sophie Melsness, followed by Caitlin Colbert. Hitters number 1 and 2 as the pitcher for Kennedy, Mary Hyduke, has gone the whole way, given up only 7 hits. What a matchup here. Okay, here comes Josie Dvorak, looking to get a leadoff base hit or a base on balls. Just get on base. Okay, now the pitch from Mary Hyduke, and that misses outside. Wind now gusting up a little bit now out of the southeast, which is dead left center field. As the outfielders are in the sunshine and the infielders, except for the shortstop, the sun is still in Taylor David's eyes. Pitch on away from Hyduke, and she's still wearing the shades even though she's no longer in the sun. As she throws a strike, swung on and missed by Dvorak, the first baseman. And she takes kind of a check swing at that. I don't know if it was a bunt or a half swing on purpose, but she fouls it back for strike number 2. So 1 and 2 the count here. Nobody out. Bottom of the 8th. We're in extra innings. And that high pitch swung on and missed for strikeout number 1 for Mary Hyduke. And that brings up the shortstop, number 15, Sophie Melsness. Pitch on away. Ball high. maybe a little outside as well as we look at number 45, Mary Hyduke. Just love seeing the smiles on their faces, that they're having a good time out there playing. Strike. 1-1 the count to Melsness, the leadoff hitter. Senior leader on this team. Also a hockey star for the girls hockey team. And that is going to be called a strike. She tried to check her swing, but the home plate umpire determined that she went around on that. So now she's down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here. Bottom of the 8th. Pitch on away, swung on and missed. And neither pitcher is showing any signs of faltering, even late in this matchup. And, you know, their arms just don't tire from that underhand delivery as it does for baseball players throwing overhand. I think it's just a healthier motion, too. So I believe these pitchers can just keep going. So now 2 outs, nobody on. Stepping in to bat is the number 2 hitter, the left-hander and left fielder, Caitlin Colbert, as she swings at that first pitch. Fouls it off and to the left for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike the count. And that pitch is swung on and fouled this time, right and out of play for strike 2. So 2 strikes, no balls to count with 2 outs here, bottom of the 8th. And we have really settled into a pitcher's duel for sure now. Bats have really gone silent for both sides. Pitch on away. Just misses. I don't think Mary Hyduke agreed with that. She thought she had it at the knees, but that's ball 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the wind is kicking up. It's getting a little chilly out here, actually. And now that's swung on to the left side of the infield, and the ball is quickly thrown over to first baseman by a stellar play in the infield by third baseman Katie Edmonds to record out number 3. And so now we're gonna go to the 9th. Just like the big boys, let's play 9 as we look at the Eagles sideline as their coach huddles them up. And I just heard their little self-cheer. They chanted together, it's now or never. That's the Eagles mantra here, as they're gonna come up to bat in the top of the 9th from Red Knights Field. And I look out on the mound, and there's that starting pitcher, Hessian. And we have been treated to 2 excellent pitching performances, not only by Mary Hyduke for Kennedy, but also Hessian. Tibby Hessian. When she's not pitching, she also plays first base, but tonight it's all pitcher from Tibby. Love that name, Tibby Hessian. And I love her pitching even more. She is something else and a great asset on the mound for this Red Knight softball team. All right, this is the chance for the Eagles. They stranded a runner on third base after a triple with 1 out. They had it right there in front of them, and now they got to find a way to eke out another base runner here against a very tough pitcher. And that first pitch is right to Melsness. 1 pitch, 1 out, just like that. And now stepping in to bat after that first 1 pitch out by Tibby Hessian will be the designated hitter, the left-hander, Olivia Spencer. And that pitch is low. Olivia Spencer seems like a tough out to me. She definitely appears that she got a hold of one. It would go here, and she swings at that pitch, and it's a ground ball to the right side of the infield and easily picked up by the second baseman and scooted over to the first baseman. That, of course, at second base is Marina Von Hoff, and she made a nice, smooth second base play out there with a nice, light, underhanded throw to Dvorak at first for out number 1 in the top of the 8th, and Hessian brings the heat. Tibby does. to number 20, who now steps in the bat, the number 7 hitter. That's Ava Morabito, the first baseman for the Eagles with 2 outs, and that second pitch with 1 strike. Nelson comes in from shortstop and on a dead sprint records out number 3. So just like that, 1, 2, 3, down go the Eagles in the top half of the 9th, and now the Red Knights. The Eagles chant now or never. Well, it's going to be maybe never, because it wasn't now. And now the Red Knights are chanting, and they're huddling over on the left side. As they now let out a collective cheer. And I think we're going to be in the middle of the lineup here for the Red Knights. If I can recall correctly, let's see who's up to bat over there. Looks like number 4. That is Brooklyn Riley. So yes, the number 3, 4, and 5 hitters, the heart of the lineup here for the Red Knights in the bottom of the 9th. Game time approaching 2 hours here. We started a little bit late, a little after 6 o'clock, and we're approaching 8 o'clock. And thankfully the temperatures are moderate. And look at the Eagles with a little dance out there in center field. The outfielders putting on a little show, a little jumping dance. Good to see the enthusiasm by the Eagles outfielders. Boy, time of their life here playing high school varsity sports. Goes by fast, of course. And back out on the mound in her shades is number 45, Mary Hyduke. And that first pitch is swung on and hit sharply to Ellie Baker by number 4, Brooklyn Riley. So not much like, exactly like the top half of the 9th. The first pitch led to a first out, and just like matching her is the pitcher, Mary Hyduke. So 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, and now stepping into bat is number 15 for the Red Knights. The pitcher, Tibby Hessian, the number 4 hitter, looks at strike 1 from her counterpart on the mound, Mary Hyduke. Pitch on the way by Hyduke is inside for a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike the count, 1 out here, bottom of the 9th. Next up, following her will be Marina Von Hoff, the second baseman. Pitch on away, swung on and fouled back into the left against the backstop for strike number 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Pitch on away, low and in the dirt. Good eye by Tibby Hessian, the left-handed hitter. Right-handed thrower, though. 2-2 count, swung on and fouled back and out of play. A lot of foul balls today. That's a testament to the velocity and the pace on these fastballs by these stellar pitchers here tonight. 2-2 count to Hessian, 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 9th, we're in extra innings here from Red Knight Stadium, softball stadium, and that pitch just misses inside. The home plate umpire took a good look at that one. All right, full count, 1 out here. The payoff pitch swung on, and that's to short left field. Coming in, the left fielder fighting the sun, makes the catch. Running in and catching that for the Kennedy Eagles was number 23, Carissa Wheeler, fighting that sun. And calmly makes that put out for out number 2. And so that'll bring up number 3 for the Red Knights. The number 5 hitter, Marina Von Hoff, and her first pitch goes right back to the pitcher. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, they're out in the 9th. And after 9 complete, we go to 10. As these players are earning their keep tonight. Hopefully they have the crock pots and dinner waiting for them at home, because they can just keep simmering. But any dinner plans will have to be on hold, as we still are knotted at 1 here as we go to the top of the 10th inning. And coming back out to the mound is their stellar pitcher for the Red Knights. She's given up only 4 hits through 9 complete innings. Tibby Hessian, a game for the ages here, an all-time, what do they call those, instant classics? I think this is an instant classic right here. Look at all those zeros. And yes, we do have the graphics for more innings. Of course we do. Great looking color graphics here as well. Great camera angles. Checking out the fans, the Red Knights in their red colors. Representing. And there's a strong contingent of Eagles parents here, I would imagine, watching their kids. Now the Eagles will be coming up in the top of the 10th. And expected up for the Eagles in the top of the 10th will be number 4, Kate Razzie. So the numbers 8, 9, and then the top of the order with Taylor David due up for the Eagles in their half of the 10th inning. And right now the name of the game is get a base runner, and they attempt a bunt attempt. Kat Razzie does, so that's what she's trying to do, is bunt her way on, just get a base runner any way you can and then find a way to move them around. So no balls, 1 strike the count to Kat Razzie, the right fielder for the Eagles, as both players were running in expecting a bunt attempt, but laying off it for ball 1 was Razzie as she looks down the third base line to get the sign from the third base coach for the Eagles. 1-1 the count now to her right there, and she does try to lay down the bunt and fouls it back for strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Top of the 10th here on the campus of the Red Knights of Benilde-St. Margaret's as they try to get their 5th conference win against 0 losses, or their 4th conference win, I should say, and that ball is fouled back again. So clearly both teams have great hitters, but these pitchers are dominating tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tibby Hessian. There she is. The delivery, wind up, and a swing and a miss for strikeout. And out number 1 in the top of the 10th. And I tell you what, with these pitchers, we could be here a while, I feel. No signs of any of these teams getting any type of significant threat. Not even a hint. Except a couple innings ago, the Eagles had a golden opportunity with a runner on third with 1 out, and they couldn't get her home. As stepping in is Carissa Wheeler, the number 9 hitter. The left fielder looks at ball 1. With 1 out here, top of the 10th, and now ball 2 from Hessian. So 2-0 the count. As we look at Carissa Wheeler, take her warm-up cuts. Quickly gets back in the box though. Hessian taking her time. And the windup and the delivery, 2 balls, no strikes, and that's strike 1. So whenever Hessian needs to get a strike, she can dial 1 up and deliver it on demand. It feels like 2-1 now the count. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Wheeler didn't appear anywhere close to that pitch. Tibby Hessian in control. 2-2 delivery with 1 out, swung on, and that's a miss, but the catcher dropped a 3rd strike, and she was shaking her head, but she quickly tags out Wheeler instead for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on. And now the top of the order once again. Deja vu all over again. Taylor David comes up, the leadoff hitter, the shortstop, and a good one she is out there in the field with 2 outs here. And we're tied at 1 in the top of the 10th. Pitch on away, strike call. So Hessian gets out in front of Taylor David. Shadows now covering the entire outfield, it appears, so that should not be an issue as it was a big issue for the Red Knights in left field as they missed an opportunity to get an out, which led to the only run for the Eagles. Otherwise, we'd be out of here. So one earned run for the Red Knights, one unearned run for the Eagles is how we got here, basically. As Hessian delivers strike 2, so no balls, 2 strikes to Taylor David with 2 outs here. Hessian looking in. Rotates that ball around and now brings it, and that ball swung on, and that could be tough play for Melsness as she comes back and comes up with a spectacular catch, falling back over as she was transversing from the infield to the outfield. She may have tripped right there, just trying to catch her feet, and that can be so difficult going from one. And look at her face. And doesn't that tell you she is a heck of a player, that shortstop Sophie Melsness, is what I'm going to say about that. She had great concentration, and that's what that takes to make a play like that. You just lock your eyes in on that ball and let your hands go to it and let your body take the punishment. And that's what they call paying the price, and Melsness paid the price there, but she smiles out there in the sidelines. And she made quite a few key plays at shortstop this evening. So now we're gonna go to the bottom of the 10th, and now no cheers or anything like that. Let's just play softball. So I didn't see any group cheers. Those have kind of fallen by the wayside here as we are in the bottom of the 10th. Who would have thought? But what a great matchup it is here. And it does pay to know that both these teams, and I'll keep repeating it because I think it adds to the excitement knowing that both these teams are undefeated in the conference. 4-0 are the Eagles, 3-0 are the Red Knights, and they're chasing the Chanhassen Storm, who are 6-0 atop the Metro West standings. And that first pitch by the stellar pitcher, Mary Hyduke, is a ball, and that is number 12 batting, the catcher, Maggie Wozniak, as she swings. And that is strike 1, showing a little bit of frustration as she mouths some words to the third base head coach for the Red Knights, and the count is 1-1 with nobody out. And the windup on a way, swung on, and that's a short fly ball, easily taken in by the shortstop, Taylor David, for out number 1. And the bats have gone quiet here. What a game here, 1-1. We haven't had any scoring since what, the 3rd or 4th inning? 4th inning. All right, now 1 out, and stepping into the batter's box this time is Ellie Porish as she looks at strike 1, no ball, 1 strike. Smile there from Mary Hyduke. Eagle pitcher. And the windup. Strike call. Suddenly no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. To Ellie Porish, the center fielder. Number 23 takes a cut, fouls it back. Boy, a ton of foul balls here tonight. Just tells you how hard it is to hit these pitchers. Count remains 0-2, 1 out. Bottom of the 10th. Pitch on away, fouled back again. Count still 0-2, 1 out. Swung on again and fouled back. Remains 0-2. That's Mary Hyduke. She's pitched all 10 innings for the Eagles. And the high, hard one gets Porish chasing that pitch out of the strike zone for strike number 3 and out number 2 in the bottom of the 10th. And now, with 2 outs, nobody on, stepping into bat, asking for time is the number 8 hitter, number 7, the right fielder, Maddie Murray. as she takes that first pitch, and I didn't see what that was. Was that a ball or a strike? And I'm looking at the scoreboard, and I don't know. And that definitely was a strike, a swing and a miss. So we know one strike for sure. With 2 outs. And Murray trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 10th, and that's a strike call. Easily seen from our well-positioned center field camera. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th, and the delivery is swung on and fouled along the first base line. Over to pick it up there is the first baseman, Ava Marabito. So the count will remain at 1-2 with 2 outs. And the lights are coming on in the lacrosse match across the way on the football field here at Benilde. And I don't think we have lights here, do we, on the softball field? So that could play a role in how this matchup ends tonight. We may run out of daylight. A little early for that right now. It's a swing and a miss and a strikeout for out number 3. So after 10 complete, our score remains tied at 1. First run for Benilde came way back in the bottom of the first. The Kennedy Eagles answered back with one of their own in the top of the 4th on an error. And there is your score. And look at that hitters matchup. 7 hits only given up for the Eagles, and only 4 hits have the Red Knights given up. 11 total hits, and that is a low amount in a girls softball matchup for sure. It's a hitter's game in fast pitch softball, more so than baseball for sure, but not in this one. And I do declare this an instant classic. This is a great pitchers rivalry here. And I look out on the mound, and it's going to be our favorite pitcher, Tibby Hessian, will come out to pitch the 11th. And it begs the question, I wonder, what is the longest a pitcher has ever gone in a girls' slow pitch softball? I mean, is there a limit at all? I know in baseball, I think they actually have rules about how many innings you can pitch per week, and that is to preserve injuries from the pitcher's arms. But with softball, I don't know if there is a limit of any kind. It's just a much more, as I mentioned earlier, it's easier on that shoulder. Okay, now stepping into bat is number 11, the center fielder, Allie Sheehan, to lead it off, and that's going to be an error on the second baseman, and she's going to take second base, and a heads-up play by Allie Sheehan as she now ignites the Eagles bench with a lead-off. That's going to be an error on Benilde, I'm afraid. I'd have to call that an E. Let's see here again to be sure. But the windup, and it's swung on, and misjudging it was the second baseman. She came in and then kind of let the ball play her, and then the outfielders were a little slow on the backup, and that's what allowed Sheehan to take second base. So a little bit of sleep there in the outfield. And that can happen in these pitchers' duels. Your minds can wander when you're out there, and they were a little slow to back up the second baseman, and that allowed Sheehan to get to second base and in scoring position. But Hessian answers right back and gets their next hitter, Ellie Baker, to foul out with a nice play here by number 21. The first baseman for the Red Knights is Dvorak. And that is a difficult play in uneven terrain, as you can see right there with that view from our dugout camera along the first base line for 1 out now. But Sheehan's on second base, a base hit away. But those have been hard to come by for the Eagles. They only have, what, 4? But they have benefited from 3 errors by the Red Knights. And that, if the Red Knights do not emerge victorious from this game, that is one thing they will have to look at as probably the cause is the errors in the field tonight. All right, the delivery with 1 out and a runner on second. Misses high for a ball. So the count now is 1-1 with 1 out. Look at that, the scoreboard. It's all ones. 1-1 in the 11th inning with ball 1, strike 1, and 1 out. You don't see that very often if you're into numerology. All right, now 2-1 the count with 1 out. Sheehan still on second. Doesn't look like a stealing threat. But this is a critical at-bat, I think, here for number 9 for the Eagles. That is Katie, or Emily Spencer, I should say, as she fouls that one back. And she gets some coaching advice from the first base coach. So 2-2 the count now for Hessian and the batter, number 9. Emily Spencer, the number 4 hitter and the catcher. That ball is a strike. Looked like it could have been a little low. Oh, yeah, I think the batter thought it was too. As the umpire made a silent strike sign with his, he lifts his right arm, but he doesn't call it out. So the batter didn't hear it. So that is a strikeout for Hessian, and a big one that is, with that runner still looming at second base. And now up to bat, number 18 is Katie Edmonds, as the throw attempt to try to pick off the runner, Allie Sheehan, on second base fails. So 2 outs here, 1 ball, no strikes to count. Swung on and fouled out of play along the third base line for strike number 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. We're tied at 1 in the 11th with the go-ahead run on second base, and Allie Sheehan with Katie Edmonds, the number 5 hitter, at the plate. And that ball is inside. 2-1 the count with 2 outs. I don't have a jacket. I was like, oh, I'm not going to need a jacket tonight, but I didn't think I'd be here this late, and it is starting to get a little bit chilly. Nothing too bad. And that ball hit right to Melsness. She's up with it over the first baseman for the 3rd out. And the Eagles threaten in their half of the 11th, but do not score, stranding Allie Sheehan on second. And after 11 and a half innings from Red Knight Stadium, we're still tied at 1. And if you're still with us, we're glad you are. If you're just joining us, you are in for a treat, as we are in extra innings. They played 7, and now what? We're 5 innings into it, into the extra innings. And again, it's not too dark yet, but that could become an issue as the sun is setting behind us. I feel like I could see the ball. I wouldn't quit playing just yet, but it could become a factor at some point, as they do not have lights here. So might be something they want to bring up for the budget. I bet it's not cheap to put up big towers like that with those lights. No way, Jose. So I'm just going to look at my weather app here to see what time does the sun set today. And if it's actually 8:25, Paul, our producer, just whispered to me here. And what time do we have now? It's about 10 minutes after 8. So we have 15 minutes before the sun officially sets here in the upper Midwest, in the state of Minnesota, in the metro area of Minneapolis, St. Paul, in St. Louis Park. Glad you're with us now. The Red Knights in their bottom of the 11th lead it off with number 21, the first baseman. Swung on, and Baker bobbles it momentarily, but able to recover in time to throw out Josie Dvorak, the batter, and the number 9 hitter. So out number 1, Baker quickly gets it over to Marabito, number 20, for the Eagles for out number 1. So there is Mary Hyduke. Yeah, she records out number 1, and now the top of the order again. It seems like we keep seeing the top of the order over and over all the time. It's like that Groundhog's Day movie, deja vu all over again is what it feels like. 1 ball, no strikes to Sophie Melsness, the shortstop. Can she lead us to the promised land here in the bottom of the 11th with a 1-out base hit or more? But she is facing a really tough pitcher in Mary Hyduke. She has an ERA of 4, and that's hard to believe it's that high after what I've seen. And comparing it to her counterpart, Tibby Hessian, the pitcher for Benilde, who had a 2.0 ERA. As the count now is 2-1 to Sophie Melsness. And that pitch is high and outside. 3-1 the count. 1 out. Nobody on. That's Mary LeDuc. The left-handed pitcher delivers. Strike call. Catches the outside corner for strike 2. So the count is full to Sophie Melsness. The leadoff hitter, the shortstop. 3-2 count, 1 out. Pitch swung on. It's going to be to short right field. Moving in and under it, no problem. Hauling it in is number 4, the right fielder. That is Kate Razzie. Looked like she may have had a little difficulty seeing it now with the light now maybe becoming a factor. But she was able to haul it in, no problem in the end. So that's out number 2. And now up to bat, number 5. Off the bench is Alina Johnson as she swings and fouls. So Red Knights going to their bench, and I think that's a good move. Get some fresh blood in there, get something going here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th. I think it's an excellent move. Kind of shake things up a little bit. Pitch on away, strike call. And she also has that style of running before you actually hit. And I don't know how you can get anything on that softball without your feet, anchored in there. But that's what they do, and she does get it. So what do I know? But it's a quick out for Baker. She gets it over to Morabito for out number 3. And after 11 complete, our score remains tied at 1 here on ParkTV 16 Sports. We're streaming live on YouTube. So glad you're with us if you're still with us. And you should be, because this is an excellent, excellent softball game. A pitcher's duel extraordinaire. I would love to interview these pitchers when it's over to get their reactions to the experience of being in a game this long. Have they been in one this long before? What was it like? What does it feel like to pitch in a game like this with really a lot on the line? The Metro Conference West title is up for grabs. 3 teams are all undefeated. Chanhassen, these very Red Knights, and these very Kennedy Eagles. As the fans are still hanging around outside the fence in their lawn chairs. There's the JFK Kennedy boys team supporting their girls softball team. Always like to see that. And now Kennedy in the top of the 12th will lead off. That's Olivia Spencer. I'm starting to get to know these players without really looking at the program now. After 12 innings, it starts to sink in, actually. So sometimes Olivia Spencer looks at ball 1 from Tibby Hessian, who's gone the whole way. This will be her 12th inning. She's only given up, 4 hits on 3 errors. Stellar performance by her as she delivers strike 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Olivia Spencer. Spencer is the designated hitter for Kennedy and also their number 6 hitter. So hitters number 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Eagles as that pitch is fouled off to the left for strike number 2. So the pitcher's duel continues here. Just dominating performances. Olivia Spencer with a 1 ball, 2 strike pitch is low, and that evens the count 2-2 as Spencer looks at the third base coach and nods with confidence there. There she is nodding, talking to herself. These pitchers and hitters, there's a big chess match going on as they're trying to guess where those pitchers are going to be. Is it going to be a curveball? Will they go low or high? And a lot of it is guesswork, especially with the ball coming in from such close range as it is in girls' fast pitch. So our count now at 2-2 with nobody out. Top of the 12th. Spencer looks at that pitch and fouls it back. A lot of pace on it. Count remains 2-2. So I'm watching the airplanes descend out of the western sky towards Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. And that ball misses, so now Spencer runs the count full here to lead off the top of the 12th. Due up next is Ava Morabito. And that ball swung on to Melsness, and it gets by her for a hit, and that's going to be an error on the Red Knights. So a leadoff base runner for Olivia Spencer, and that ball was hit sharply, really sharply, as she uses that power, and that's what it was. It was so fast on Melsness. I think she was a little surprised by how much pace was on that ball, and that is one of the advantages when you do get to a pitcher that has so much power on those pitches. You can use it against the defense, and that generates power right back out towards those outfielders and can make the play a little more difficult, as was the case with Melsness there at short. Okay, we got a coach coming out of the dugout for Kennedy. And are we going to get a pinch runner? I'm wondering. Or a sub. Let's see here. So, okay, it's going to be a pinch runner. That's to get some speed out there on the base paths with a 1-1. So Spencer does her job and gets on base. And coming in, what number is that, Paul? Can you tell? Let's see. Is that number 5? All right. See if we can figure out who that is, and that's Elena Johnson, and I think we've called her name before as a pinch runner. So she comes in to pinch run with nobody out in the top of the 12th, and now stepping into bat is number 20, the number 7 hitter in the lineup, Ava Morabito, the first baseman, with nobody out. And the stolen attempt, the ball goes over the head of the catcher, and that's going to allow Alana Johnson to take second base with nobody out. So the Eagles have another runner in scoring position, but this time instead of with 1 out, they have nobody out. And so a golden opportunity. 2 medium deep fly balls here, or of course a couple of base hits should give the Eagles the lead, but they have stranded their last 2 base runners that made it to second or third, and now that infield hit is caught by the second baseman for out number 1. So Hessian comes up big time after giving up that hit, although it really wasn't a hit, by giving up that base runner, I should say, and then having them advance to second. She gets that critical first out here in the top of the 12th. And now stepping into bat is number 4 for the Eagles. That again is Kat Rassi. Feels like she was just up 2 seconds ago, and now she leans in to bunt, and she gets one down perfectly along the first base line, and that was a great bunt. As she does her job and advances the runner over to third. That was just a thing of beauty by number 4, Kate Rassi, the right fielder. Watch this bunt, folks. Just perfect pace. She lets off the tension with it just enough, and that ball just died there and prevented them from making a play over to third base. So now with 2 outs, a runner is 60 feet away. They were just there a few innings ago. Can they punch it through this time? And in the bat is the number 9 hitter, number 23, Carissa Wheeler, the left fielder. She takes ball 1. So 1-0 the count. 2 outs, top of the 12th. We're tied at 1. The go-ahead run is 60 feet away, and that is a very fast fastball by Tibby Hessian. Noticeable by the sound in the catcher's mitt when she caught it. The count now 1-1. Pitch on away, low, ball 2 now, 2-1 the count. And you can see the look on Hessian there. That ball almost got away from her, and she keeps shaking her arm. I don't know if that's the temperature maybe, if she's trying to keep blood flow. I'm not quite sure what that is. And that ball swung on, short left out of play, and the catcher, Wozniak, comes over and makes another stellar play in the outfield. Her 3rd one of the game that I can recall, or maybe her 4th, to go with a gunning down a runner at 3rd. And there she makes another nice play, coming from behind the catcher and keeping her balance there. And there's the smile. And now the Red Knights are going to come back up in the bottom of the 12th. There is the scoreboard, 1 run apiece, 5 hits for the Kennedy Eagles, 7 hits for the Red Knights, and look at those 4 errors. But, you know, they only got hurt on 1 of them, and they could have got hurt on the other 3, but they've been able to pitch their way out of it. And we are tied at 1 here, going to the bottom of the 12th. And now the umpires are coming out to talk to the coaches, and now there's going to be a discussion about the light here. And I look at the watch, we're 5 minutes from the official sunset. Oh, I thought there was going to be an announcement, but they're still selling food here. They got hot dogs, the grill going. I actually had a brat, very delicious. One of the better ones I've ever had at a game. They're big, juicy, and delicious. Mustard and ketchup, another reason to not only watch the game, you can watch it on your phone while you're here, and it's just a great atmosphere, and they're gonna keep playing here as it is now officially dusk. The sun has set. There are no lights for this field. There are lights for the baseball field and the other 2 fields I see around, but not the softball field. So at some point, we are gonna run out of light. But I think we might have about a half an hour left, Paul. I'm not so sure, but somewhere around, maybe a little longer. But it doesn't seem particularly dangerous, but that's where you have to worry, is that you can't see anything. Okay, the pitch on away from Hegdahl, Mary Hegdahl, number 45, beginning the 12th, bottom of the 12th inning, and stepping into bat for the Red Knights is number 4, the number 3 hitter, Brooklyn Riley. So it's 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. That's Brooklyn Riley coming up. Tebby Hissian, the pitcher, and Marina Von Hoff to try to get this one in the barn, as they say. That pitch hit on right to the shortstop, Taylor David. And boy, she's a really good looking shortstop over there. Watch that technique, folks. Picture perfect. That she could teach a clinic on infielding. Moved over there, just did it perfectly. So 1 out here for Hegdahl and the Eagles in the bottom of the 12th. And now stepping into bat is Tibby Hessian. And if her arm is getting a little weary out there, she can do herself a favor here with a big hit. Extra base hit to the gap would be just what the doctor ordered, but she's got 1 strike to go against no balls. And there's a nice base hit right up the middle to the center fielder, and there's Tess Hessian. Gets that nice base hit with 1 out. And that ball was hit sharply right up the middle. Nice and relaxed Hessian. She's got a great swing. Heck of a softball player, Tibby Hessian. And she's gonna give it up for a pinch runner, CC Hansen. And the last time Hessian reached on a base hit, Hansen came in to pinch run, and she got thrown out trying to steal second. You wonder if they're going to be a little more gun shy about that this time, because that took them out of any chance of scoring. So I would expect them not to do that. They have not been able to beat this catcher yet, but we shall see. So that's something to keep your eye on here as we're about to begin the next batter, which is going to be number 3, Marina Von Hoff, the second baseman, and number 5 hitter in the lineup with 1 out in the bottom of the 12th. With the winning run on first base, and so far didn't look like she was gonna attempt to steal, but the middle infielders though are cheating that way towards second, expecting a possible steal attempt. And the pitch on away misses outside. So yes, the Eagles outfield are very concerned about a steal attempt here by CC Hansen. The pinch runner in for Hessian after she got a base hit with 1 out here in the bottom of the 12th. And there's the bunt attempt, and it's gonna go foul. So trying to advance the runner, as they say, that's what they call small ball. And now the third base coach will come in to speak to her batter, and she asks the umpire for a minute. She puts her arm around her, there she is, talking to her number 5 hitter, Marina Von Hoff, and that also gives an opportunity for the catcher for the Eagles to come and talk strategy about this hitter as well. And there is the runner on first, CC Hansen, going over the different scenarios that could happen. and what to do. One thing is, if it's a line shot up the middle, don't get caught off first base because that would end the scoring threat here. Okay, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, bottom of the 12th. Winning run on first, and she's staying at first base. I think that's wise after this catcher had thrown her out the last time and then threw out one of her teammates trying to steal second as well. So now the count 2-2, and that ball's hit to the right side. Baker picks up, quick shot over to first baseman, but she does her job by advancing the runner to second base in scoring position now with 2 outs. And it is now getting dark out. I can feel that the lighting could become a problem here. So this would be a good time for the Red Knights to end it, and now they need a base hit. And stepping in to bat, the tough catcher for the Red Knights, number 12, Maggie Wozniak. With a base hit here, could win it, and that hit is out to left field, but it gets held up by the wind, and the left fielder moves over there to get it. And I just caught an eye of the catcher as she looked up to the heavens to thank God that that ball got caught, because it was hit well, but that breeze out of the southeast, right out of left center, has played a role in this game, and it definitely held that ball up and allowed that left fielder to make that play. So after 13 complete innings, it looks like, or 12 complete, we're going to the top of the 13th. Unbelievable, and this might be the last inning, I would say. Maybe not, but it could be, depending on how fast it goes. I don't know if they can redirect those lights that shine into the baseball field. If they could just turn them around, they could probably figure that out, but I don't think they're on any type of remote operation. So we're playing in the dusk, and now the game time. This has been, we're coming up on 2.5 hours of game time. What a matchup here. 12 complete, only 13 hits, 2 runs, unheard of in softball. All right, Taylor David, again, I feel like she was just up, and that's because she was just up. All right, the leadoff hitter for the Eagles, so the top of the order in the top of the 13th as Taylor David, the shortstop, takes strike 1 from the starting pitcher, Tibby Hessian, and that ball hit right to Melsness. She gets it up and over in time for the out. Nice play by Sophie Melsness. As taking it in, the nice reach, ball on the bag. Taylor David thought she might be safe, a little wishful thinking there, as she was clearly out. So 1 out here in the top of the 13th. And up next is Allie Sheehan, and she's had success at the plate tonight. I think she had a triple and maybe a double as well, or reach on an air. But she looks at ball 1, no strikes, 1 out, nobody on. That swung on sharply, foul, just foul. Oh, that could have been trouble for the Red Knights. Quickly over there, though, very quickly, was the right fielder, Murray, Maddie Murray. So it probably only would have been a single had it dropped in fair play, but now the count 1-1, and swung on and missed as Tibby Hessian brings the heat on that one to number 11, Allie Sheehan. Pitch on away, and that ball's hit to dead center field, and that's down, and it gets by the center fielder momentarily as Sheehan comes into second base and slides in safely, as the throw was just a little bit behind the runner, and Melsness was not in a great place to make the tag. And look at this well-hit ball, and that gets down in the gap between left and center by the center fielder there. Again, playing in short, you pay a price, and now with 1 out, the Eagles have another runner in scoring position, and up to bat, the number 3 hitter, number 34, Kirby Puckett's old number, Ellie Baker. And she takes a big cut, and it gets by the catcher, and they're gonna call a foul ball as Sheehan on second base thought she could take third, and it was kind of hard to tell that it was a foul tip, but it was. So that's strike 1 to Ellie Baker. 0-1 the count with 1 out. Go-ahead run on second base top of the 13th inning, and that's a big, hard fastball by Hessian. She now is ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Ellie Baker looking to break the deadlock, and a comebacker right back to Hessian, and she puts the out quickly over to first base to Dvorak, as she brings it in, and here we are again. Deja vu all over again. Sheehan's on third base again, 60 feet away with 2 outs, and guess who's up again in the same position is number 9, the catcher, Emily Spencer. Tough catcher she is. She threw out 2 base runners trying to steal second. She was perfect at that this afternoon and this evening, and now she looks at ball 1. Base hit definitely creates the go-ahead here for the Eagles. Pitch on away, swung, oh, gets by. Oh, she got hit. Okay, so the ball did get by, but it's a hit batsman. So that run may be of little consequence, although it could if they do get 1 in and the Red Knights come back to tie it in the bottom of the 13th. All right, so now stepping in to bat is Katie Edmonds, number 5, the third baseman with 2 outs, runners on first and third. And you gotta think that the catcher who's on first, Emily Spencer, will probably try to take second base, because if Wozniak throws it down there, the catcher for the Red Knights, that would allow the runner to score. So I don't think they want to do that, but they're not going to take that chance either. They don't want to risk an out there too if they did throw her out, because then the run wouldn't score. So now no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Of course, Hessian is answering the call here with a runner 60 feet away from taking the go-ahead lead, and now a swung on, and they struck her out. Wow. And look at the frustration on the catcher on first base. You think this game doesn't matter to these Eagles and these Red Knights? Yes, it does matter. Look at the seriousness over there. They want to get this win as we go to the bottom of the 13th. And they're going to keep playing, as we are now 10 minutes appearing past sunset. So it's still bright enough, but there's going to come a time where that's not going to be the case, sooner rather than later, of course. But these fans have been hanging in here for 2.5 hours. Game time was at 5:45. It's really coming up on 3 hours. And I thought I'd be back in time to watch some of the wild hockey game, at least the beginning part of it. I'm sure I'll be back for most of it, and I'd much rather be here anyway. But I was thinking, I should probably be home by around 8 o'clock tonight. Plenty of time to put a frozen pizza in the oven and watch a little hockey tonight, mixed in with a little Twins baseball and maybe an NBA game as well. But instead, we're here watching this classic pitcher's duel. And that is not a mistake. We are in the bottom of the 13th inning, and you can see some Red Knight baseball players have now joined the fans along the right field sideline there. And this is a very intriguing game. And now I do see the umpires and coaches talking, and now they're talking about the light. So I don't know. Are they going to call it? Let's see. One more half inning, I bet. That would be my bet. This is it. And they're having fun. The catcher getting her groove on there behind the bench. People are having fun. All right. And I'll say this. The pitcher, Mary Heideck, is not wearing her sunglasses anymore. That's one thing for sure. That's a change. So now Ellie Porsche will lead it off for the bottom of the 13th. She is the center fielder and the number 7 hitter. So 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Red Knights. Porsche, Murray, and Dvorak. And that pitch is hit and gets by the first baseman. And you wonder if the light didn't have something to do with that. It is dark. It's getting dark. So that's going to be, I don't know, a base hit or an error. Let's see here. She looks in, she swings, got good bat on it. I'd give that a hit. So good leadoff hit by the center fielder, Ellie Porish, here in the bottom of the 13th. And the winning run is on first base, and now up is Maddie Murray, and she lays down a bunt, and it gets by the first baseman, overran it, and no play is going to be made, and she's going to reach. And now the Red Knights have 2 base runners with nobody outs in the bottom of the 13th. Let's see how this happened. So she got the bunt, and the first baseman just overran it. Took her eye off of it, and the pitcher, Hajduk, thought she was going to get it, and that allowed not only the runner to advance to second baseman, or to second base, that's Porish, but it allows Murray to get on at first base. But that really is inconsequential. In fact, well, it's a good thing, but not necessary. In fact, it's a better situation, I think, to have a runner on first for the Eagles, because that means they can get a force out at any base. But the key run and the only run that matters is Ellie Porish on second base with nobody out. Now up to bat is Josie Dvorak, and she lays down a bunt, and that's going to be played by the pitcher, Hajduk, and she gets the put out at first for out number 1. But now the Red Knights have runners at second and third, and the winning run is 60 feet away. As darkness is setting in here, I look up at the sky, I can see the crescent moon. And the sky is getting darker and darker. And we're tied at 1. The winning run is 60 feet away. We're in the bottom of the 13th. You're watching ParkTV 16 Sports. We're streaming live on YouTube, bringing you this great softball action in the Metro West Conference. And that pitch is high for a ball. So 1-0 the count. She can afford to walk here. So this is Sophie Melsness, the top of the order too. And that pitch is inside. You can see that from our center field camera. And don't be fooled, it looks lighter as I look at the monitor here than it actually is in if you were here. It's not nearly as light. That looks like daytime, but it's not daytime. Sunset about 15 minutes ago, and the count now 3-0. Pitch on away, strike call as Hajduk delivers a clutch strike pitch to Sophie Melsness. The senior shortstop has a chance for a walk-off hit here. 3-1 pitcher's hit, swung on, and it gets by, and that's going to win it for the Red Knights. That's going to be an error on Ellie Baker, but it's going to be the winning hit. And that will do it after 12 and a third innings. Sophie Melsness delivers the winning hit. And here's the replay. There it is, well hit. That might be a hit. It was so well hit, but it could also be an error, maybe a half of each, a half a hit or a half an error if there is such a thing. But what a matchup this was. Look at that scoreline. 11 hits for the Red Knights, 4 errors against 5 hits. Our final score is 2-1. So after 13 innings for Paul Broden, our producer, and everyone connected with our broadcast here at ParkTV 16 Sports, my name is Robert Christensen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You saw a classic tonight. Have a great night.